We are back, baby. Let's watch it.
Right here. Rolling, rolling, rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling, rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling, rolling, rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about?
So much like our last series of videos, we're gonna be giving you a little benefit to watching them in the first place. We're gonna be doing giveaways every episode. Nothing seems more appropriate to give away than a Rolo.
One of the easiest discs to roll in the game.
So if you're having issues with rollers, this might just be your solution. So while we do this video, to qualify for this giveaway, make sure to keep an ear out for a key word that we might say, where you have to leave it in the comments so we know you're listening to be able to qualify for this giveaway. This first episode, we've got a couple tips to kind of get you started into the realm of rolling. So let's roll into it. My personal favorite tip is pretty simply worded, but can be really complex when you stretch it out. But it's really, I think, a controlled grip lock gets you started in the right direction of throwing a good roller. Let's get into some action.
On the track.
So as you can see, I was trying my best to let go really late with that Avenger SS. It's an understable disc, so it doesn't take a lot of time for it to hit the angle that I'm looking for. And so that's why when you grip lock it, it just comes out fast, hits the ground running.
One tip I kind of like to add on to this is the angle of which it's coming out of your hand. You do want to kind of create a little bit more nose down angle. It creates more of a forward trajectory on the flight plate rather than when you give it time with that nose up, it can create a little pan out and create more of a cut roll. So just making sure that you have a little bit of nose down and that controlled grip lock, you're going to be getting longer and straighter cowabunga-ing rollers down the fairway.
On the track.
All right, so now we're in the podcast room. We have a few videos side by side that shows a good and a bad version of what we're talking about. As I just mentioned previously, talking about the nose angle, here we get into this throw and you'll see at the point of release, as the disc gets at the point of in the air about to go to the right, the disc on the right is a lot more nose up and has a lot more air underneath it, giving it more room to pan out. As it continues to fly, you can see the disc on the left getting down to the ground quicker, the disc on the right having that nose up, almost creating a cut roll. It caught a little cart path, and you can see the roll, if it had a little more forward momentum, that it would have rolled just like the disc on the left.
All right, so like Jer said, nose angle matters a ton. We're gonna look at another clip of myself doing something similar, where at the point of release, you can see that the video on the left, there's much more angle. And what that angle is from is that wrist being turned and letting go much later than that clip on the right. The clip on the right is a slightly more nose up version and let go a little bit earlier. And the result of that is it just doesn't hit the ground as quick. It hits on a cut roll. It never really gets that roller angle going, which is not an uncommon result for people who are just starting to learn how to throw a roller. And so
I noticed the clip on the right, there was almost no grip lock, which you wanted some. So.
It's almost a flat shot. And it was on purpose in the sense to show an example of folks who grab an understable disc and believe that if they throw it hard and on turnover, that it'll just land on a roller angle, where what they're missing is generally that wrist turn to force the nose down, like Jared was saying. So now that we've learned how to get the roller just on the ground, somewhat aimlessly, but on the ground with the right angle, we're going to go into Jer's tip, which is much more directed towards, once you have control of putting the angle down, putting it towards your target, towards your basket, so that way you're rolling with purpose. Let's check it out.
Tip number 2 is kind of going back to previous videos that we've talked about in throwing the disc forward and having a nice forward momentum on your throw rather than yanking down to the ground. It's a nice little give and take with the controlled grip lock, but also having a nice forward throw on it. Something to the eye to catch is if you put a line down the middle of the fairway, you could see the disc almost coming out left side of that middle line, right? And then the understability of the disc works back and finds that angle to create a nice forward momentum roll, sorry. That's something that I think about in all my rollers, and as you can see, we threw some pretty good ones here today that just stayed right on line. Just thinking about forward push and forward momentum helps me create good far flying and on point rollers. So there you guys have it for our first part of our roller series. Today was very entry level, working on a few tips to help with rollers just to start off with. Our next episode, we're gonna be getting into disc selection, rather overstable or understable works better, a couple different things with that. If you liked this video and you noticed the fancy word that we used, maybe leave it in the comments and you get a chance to win this Rolo that we used in this video. Leave it in the comments, leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.